let's talk about Shohei Ohtani because we just have to. There's a couple of things that we're going to get to after, but let's just jump into Shohei Ohtani. So Max Scherzer, this was interesting, and we're going to talk about Mad Max more, but Max Scherzer has been working to recruit Shohei Ohtani. This has kind of gone out widely. I think most people are aware of this, but the quote I thought was fascinating. He's telling Ohtani, and this was on a episode of Foul Territory that he appeared on. But the quote was, "Money is great, but winning is better." Now, Brad, I have two questions for you. The first is, do you think that's true?
This is the thing. This is the thing about that, is that these guys make so much money that winning is better, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was Jose Ramirez a few years ago said, how much different is my life going to be if I make $5 million more dollars, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And Shohei Ohtani is going to make so much money over the course of his career that it's not going to matter if he goes to a team that pays him a little less, if he has World Series, plural, to go to his name and his legacy. Because he's not just chasing the best player in baseball. He's not chasing that title against Mike Trout or Aaron Judge or anybody else, any of his peers. He's chasing the all-time legacy of the Babe.
Yeah.
Which, to me, he's already passed him in a lot of aspects because he's way more athletic. He can do way more things than the Babe ever could, right? Different time, all that, everything, right? Different body types, all of that. But at the same time, though, one of the reasons that the Babe is considered to this day still one of the greatest players ever is because he won so much.
Yeah, a lot.
He won so many World Series because his offensive output was so much greater than any other team in the league that they could win with just him. Shohei Ohtani does not live in a time when he can win by himself, as we've seen thus far. Right?
Now, hold on. I don't think Babe Ruth could win by himself.
I think he did, honestly. I know he had guys with him, but I think he very well could have at that time.
I disagree, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Well, so think about this, though, Brig. He was hitting more home runs than teams were in seasons.
100%
right?
agree. Yes.
And I feel like you get a guy who's that dominant offensively. Yeah, you can walk him, right?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, though, like, I don't know, he was coming around scoring runs, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like in that day, the talent disparity from the Babe and the other guys, because he's playing against like woodworkers, right? A lot of these guys weren't playing baseball full time because they couldn't afford to.
Some of them, yeah. Early, early as 1915, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
You get into 23, 27. Then no, I don't think that's.
You get into the murderers row, and that team just wasn't fair.
Especially
for the time.
No, that I agree with.
That's putting MLB The Show on dynasty mode and turning off your salary cap and trade restrictions. Been like, I want Judge and Ohtani and a healthy Stanton and Julio Rodriguez and Max Scherzer, healthy Jacob deGrom. That's the
Jacoby
team I
Ellsbury with a pom-pom. Maybe two pom-poms.
Towel waving on the end of the dugout.
Yeah.
That's where you put Jacoby Ellsbury. But that's what the Murderers Row team was, though, right?
Yeah.
That was a cheat code
for sure.
For the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like when it comes down to it in the end, I think that a lot of people are still going to compare Ohtani, his rings, to the Babe's rings, because that's the only comparison you can really make in the end, other than the fact that they did similar things and that the Babe also started out pitching.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, he sure did.
So,
anyway.
I think it comes down to he's going to try to find somewhere where he can win. Because I think he's sick and tired of losing in Anaheim.
No doubt.
I think that's what a lot of this comes down to.
You answered both of my questions. My first was, is this true? My second was, how true is this for Ohtani? So thank you for that. All right. Let's talk potential landing zones, landing spots for Shohei Ohtani. I've got some data here, and we're going to go over it, but I just took a sample from around the horn. But I do want to know what you think on your own, and I want to know what you think of this list. Would you like to give me one versus the other sooner rather than later? Do you want to tell me your opinions before you see the data?
Well, first, I want to know what kind of data this is. Is this like Bleacher Report being like, this is where we think he's going to go, or the Bleacher Report, like baseball journalist team, has called around the league to executives and said, what are you hearing? Where do you think Ohtani's going to go? Well, he's certainly not going back to Anaheim, but the Dodgers are heavy favorites. Yeah, that's what we've been here for a while. Is there anything behind that? A lot of speculation, right? Like, where's this information coming from? Who's coming up with this list? That's what I'm really curious about.
Well, and there's no way to know. So thank you for taking a shot at that. No. I have 3 journalist teams, and I have brought together their 10 potential trade or landing spots for Shohei Ohtani, and the disparity between them is actually really interesting. So we're going to go through this in an interesting way, and I'm going to go down the line: number 10 across all 3, number 9 across all 3, number 8 across all 3. Okay. According to Bleacher Report, the number 10 spot is Anaheim to stay with the Angels. CBS Sports doesn't list the Angels anywhere on their list. Their number 10 is Houston. And the DraftKings have the Braves, which don't feature on Bleacher Report's list, but do on the CBS Sports list. Right off the bat, I want to know, how do you feel about that number 10 slot?
I think Bleacher Report is probably spot on that if there are going to be 10 teams in the running, Anaheim is going to be number 10.
You think so?
Yeah. That out of everybody, like, they're in consideration just because he's familiar, but he's least likely to go there.
I agree with that.
The Astros, I hadn't even considered putting them on the list.
Same
thing with the Braves. Like, I get the Braves, I get it. Both teams are probably like, we didn't win the World Series, so we need to get better. How can we get better? We can add Ohtani. That's the fix-all solution for anybody in the playoffs this last year. What do we need to get better? We need to add Ohtani.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of that happening with either of those teams is like, they should not even be on the top 10 list.
That's exactly how I feel. And I feel like, how do I say this? This anything from like number 7 down, you have to make an offer because you have to make an offer, right? Yeah. You have to appease the fan base. You have to appease the ownership group. You have to appease the history books. You have to be able to turn to yourself in however many years and say, hey, we tried,
not even make an offer. You've got to make a competitive offer.
Right. That's why I think the Angels end up on a list like this. Houston, Atlanta. That's it, though. I don't think they belong anywhere on this list. Okay, we're going to jump up now because we're going to go all the way to the front of the list. I'm going to just trash the idea I had earlier. The front of the list is number 1, Bleacher Report says LA, the Dodgers. Okay. CBS Sports says the Dodgers. DraftKings Network comes in and says Baltimore Orioles. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, what?
They're trying to pad their sports book a bit.
Yeah. In fact, they put the Dodgers at number 3 on DraftKings. Which is probably inappropriate.
The Orioles don't want to pay the guys they have.
I know.
Much less that much money for that guy.
I'm telling you, man.
Let's be honest, Brig.
I know. It was so funny to me. So basically, baseball family, what we're trying to tell you is, if these lists are any indication, it's that nobody has a freaking clue what's going on. Okay.
And the thing that I think is funny is that everybody's saying the Dodgers just because they're across town and they have a whole bunch of money.
They do, and they are motivated.
I think that's it. They're obviously motivated, yeah, for sure.
For sure,
but they've got other holes they got to fill, especially with a guy who's not going to pitch next year. You're signing a pitcher who's not going to pitch in 2024.
Correct. That's exactly right.
And that's something they need.
So Jeff Passan, who like passing a basketball, that's how you say his name, in case you didn't know.
Not Passan.
Jeff Passan, thank you. Jeff Passan, quote, ultimately, this will come down to Ohtani's priorities. If it's money he wants, nobody has more than the New York Mets owner, Steve Cohen. If it's residence in Japan, and we know his culture is big for him. That's not him, that's me. Quote, if it's residence in Japan, no relationship between team and player matches that of Seattle and Ichiro Suzuki. Though the notion that the Mariners will pay top dollar for Ohtani simply is not real at the moment. Continuing Jeff Passan, his quote, he said, and if it's comfort, he can just go back to the Angels who gave him relatively carte blanche the past 6 years. That is the most compelling argument for Anaheim I've heard to date.
And those are the three most reasonably laid out teams for him to go to, I feel like. Money, the Mets have all of it. They can give him whatever he wants.
Yep.
Culture, the Mariners, and that's the thing that's made sense to me the entire time is his connection.
Right.
He loves Ichiro.
Yep.
Right?
How do you not? I mean,
right.
Everybody loves Ichiro.
And comfort, yeah, absolutely going back to Anaheim. But I think he also understands the frustration. And I wonder if that's another part of it, is that he can get money and some comfort with the Dodgers by not even moving out of his house, potentially.
Could be. Well, and then you got to figure San Francisco is just not that different. Right? It's not that far away. It's not that different. And I can see them also giving him lots of rope.
The weather's a little different there, though.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. I saw San Diego on a list and laughed. Didn't make any sense to me.
They got to take a big loan to pay for Ohtani.
Yeah, they don't have money for anything. I don't understand.
Are they on any of these three lists? No.
Yeah, they are. DraftKings has them as number 6.
What are they doing over there, DraftKings?
It's amazing.
They're trying to manipulate their betting odds. Is what they're doing. That's what this is.
Funny. Dude, I put them on here. I just was laughing the whole time. I was like, whoa, dude.
Well, because they've got the Reds and the Rays. The Rays at number 4, Brig. The Rays don't pay anybody.
I know. Here's the
Rays are looking for volunteers as ball boys.
Here's DraftKings top 10 spots for Shohei Ohtani. Baltimore, going from 1 to 10. Baltimore, Texas, Los Angeles Dodgers, Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, San Diego, the Yankees, San Francisco, Houston, and Atlanta. There's like three or four of those teams that are even worth considering.
Rangers.
The rest of them are goofy.
And I don't even know if the Rangers really are. You got Mad Max recruiting him, but I don't even know if that's a realistic. It's like somebody just spit it out the other day. I could see him going to the Rangers because they won a World Series. And now everybody's like, yeah,
that's right.
Of course.
That's exactly how it feels to me. There is not a world where I envision Shohei Ohtani signing a long-term 10-year deal in Texas. I don't get it. It doesn't work.
If the Diamondbacks had won the World Series, they would be on this list.
Right. Somebody would be saying the same thing. 100%. And that wouldn't make any sense either.
The visual, though, of Shohei Ohtani walking through Arlington wearing blue cowboy boots and a red cowboy hat, though, just popped in my brain. And now I might need to see it.
Yeah, that's exquisite imagery, sir. I am very happy about this.
Ohtani to Texas to make it happen.
So I have to speak as a Yankees fan. I do not see him ending up in pinstripes. I just don't, and it's okay. Everybody wants him. I think lots of Yankees fans want him to go there, and I do too. I mean, how do you not want that? I just don't see it happening. I don't think the culture's right at this current time.
Right.
I don't think the culture's right. I think everybody knows something's rotten and broken, and they're going to stay as far away as possible, unless all they care about is money, which is why we stand a chance to get Juan Soto. But that's for a different day.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think Seattle's a really compelling argument, but what we haven't talked about is Chicago, because the Cubs pushed really hard for him when he came in to the league, especially following Kodai Senga. And I wonder if that might come back out during this negotiation period. They've got a new leadership in the clubhouse. They've got an otherwise balanced team with capabilities. I just wonder.
This is Can they afford him? Like,
I think anybody would be able to afford him if they wanted to.
well,
Bad
right,
enough.
like, and that is the thing, right? Like, he pays for himself when it comes down to it, right? And
Yep.
maybe that's why the Padres aren't on here, because they need the revenue,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's true. Please come sell us jerseys.
So
We
jerseys,
don't even care if you
we need the
play.
gate, we need. We will pay you to wear our jersey. How is that?
It's like
Yeah.
watching Henry Rule Inverter come out there. Like, just come, please.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that is kind of the question, right? Is that, like, can they afford him? And the answer is most likely yes, because he pretty much pays for himself with the revenue he brings in internationally, domestically, everything, right? I it feels weird to me though to have him with the Cubs.
Does it feel the same
Because
way when you think about the Rangers? You're like,
yeah, because he feels like a coastal guy. Like, he's going to pick either the East Coast or the West Coast. And most likely, I still feel like he's going to stick on the West Coast, because I think he wants the shortest flight possible back to Japan whenever he can take it,
yeah,
which, obviously doesn't get a chance during the season. But when it comes time,
maybe.
but also, I don't know, he doesn't feel like like a Midwest guy.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. I just don't. Other than just gut feeling, I don't know
That
why.
if he's going to pick a big market, it's either going to be New York or LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Couple of contract proposals that I've seen, possible contracts, are 11 years, 535 million, and I've also seen 10 years, 400 million with an opt out after somewhere in there.
After 2024, like,
I saw
that would be really
2024,
interesting to
but
give him an opt-out super early, to be like, just in case you have buyer's remorse,
yeah,
we're going to give you the option.
would
Put
that
a
be a
couple
team
options in
option
there.
or a player
I
option
If you can't give him as much money as he's asking for, give him the player option.
for him to just say thanks, I'm out?
Yep.
Especially after he won't have produced any defensive capabilities. He wasn't shown any defensive capabilities after that.
Mm-hmm.
That means he could have opted out just for culture and winning potential alone.
Yeah.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is a
If he went
humdinger.
somewhere, is like, you know what, this doesn't feel quite right after a year.
Wow, that would be a monumental
And
contract.
then you know what though, Brig? At
What?
that point, you know what? The team can be like, we gave it a shot.
That's right.
It was on him. He can be public enemy wherever it was, and the front
That's true.
office is off the hook.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, but if Shohei Ohtani decides to bail from your franchise, let's say he goes to Seattle and he gets a 2024 opt out and he was like, hey,
Takes
it
it.
just wasn't right or whatever.
Yeah.
You're telling me that Seattle fans wouldn't be livid? Like, what's
Oh,
wrong with the culture?
right. And
Why is it?
that's the other thing too, right? Like, what did the front office do to him? What did they say to him?
Yeah,
You
right.
know,
I
but
think that would
the
be a
front office
double-edged
can,
sword.
as far as that goes, almost feel like they can wipe their hands of it. But yeah,
That's
I could see
risky.
that being the fans thing, and then maybe they boo him when he comes back. I don't know.